Hello grade 10, this is Miss OD.
And Miss Hughes.
Alright, today we're going to look at what we call angles of any magnitude. So up until this point, we've only really done trigonometry with acute angles. That's angles between 0 and 0 and 90. So now we're going to look at how we can find angles that are bigger than 90 degrees. We'll start off easy. We'll need to remember our exact values or our special triangles for this as well. And so we're going to start with looking at how we can find the value of sine 60. The very first thing we do is we go to our all stations to central, or what do you call it, Miss Hughes?
All silly tomcats.
So whichever version you like. We go there and we look at the angle we're trying to find, and in number 1 here it's 60 degrees. So we figure out which quadrant is 60 degrees in. Now that's the easy one because it's just an acute angle, so it's in the first quadrant. Now, Miss Hughes, what does the A stand for then again there?
The A means that all angles in this quadrant have a positive sine, cos, and tan.
Okay, good. So we know straight away, because we know it's in the first quadrant, we know that our answer will be positive. Now that's the easy bit. And then because our angle is acute, we can go straight to our triangles because we have a triangle with 60 degrees in there.
You might want to take a minute just to sketch these 3 things. They're going to be useful for all of these examples.
Yes, as you should always do when you're doing these questions. So we can see from the triangle, that middle triangle up the top there, that if we go from 60 degrees, we know that sine uses the opposite side and the hypotenuse from our SOHCAHTOA. And then looking at our triangle, we can see the side opposite is root 3 and the hypotenuse is 2. So the value of sine 60 is root 3 over 2. Finished.
Brilliant. Okay, number 2. This time we ask for cosine of 45. So again, we find 45 in our quadrants, and it's here as well. So we also know that the answer is going to be positive. So we use this triangle here. Cos is adjacent over hypotenuse. So if we go from this 45, adjacent is 1, hypotenuse is root 2. Now, sometimes in the answer scheme, you'll see this written slightly differently. They might want to rationalize the denominator. So sometimes you'll see that they multiply the numerator and the denominator by root 2. So that gives you root 2 over 2. Both those answers would be correct. Yeah?
Yes.
Okay. Next one.
So now the angle is bigger. So we have to do just a little bit of extra work here. We still start the same way. We look at the fact that we're doing sine, but we've got the angle of 120 degrees. So we go to our quadrants. Where does 120 degrees lie, Miss Hughes?
Well, up to here is 90, down here is 180, so it lies here. So if we think of the unit circle, actually it might be better to sketch it over here. It's right there.
Okay, so it's in that quadrant there, the S quadrant. So because it's in the quadrant with the S, we know that S means sine is positive, so our answer is positive. Okay, so then we need to work out what the corresponding acute angle is. So we need to work out sine of 120 is the same as sine of which angle. Now in the second quadrant there, we always do 180 minus theta, where theta is the acute angle. It's the angle in the A quadrant. So we work out 180 minus 180 minus 120 is theta, and that gives us, of course, 60 degrees. So that means that sine 120 is the same as sine 60. Good idea to write that down, because now the question has just suddenly become a lot easier. So now it's like the first question that we did. We need to work out what sine 60 is. We go to our 60-30 triangle. Sine is opposite over hypotenuse. And then in the triangle we can see opposite is root 3, the hypotenuse is 2. So sine 120 is positive root 3 over 2.
Good. Okay, similar thing with the next one. Again, we've got to decide which quadrant we're in. So there's 90, 180, 270, so 225 is here. Now here we're asked for the tangent, tan. Tan is positive in this quadrant, so we know that our answer is going to be positive. And we've got to find the associated angle, the associated acute angle theta. Now here we've gone 180 plus that theta. So 180 plus that theta is our 225. And if we rearrange that, we get that theta is 45 degrees. So again, now we just need to find the tan of 45 degrees, and we can do that using this triangle here. Adjacent over hypotenuse, opposite over adjacent, opposite over adjacent, which is 1 over 1, which is just 1. So we know that our answer is just 1.
Good.
Next one.
Oh, this is the same.
Oh, we've repeated the same one twice. Let's try the next one. Here we go.
Okay, so cos of 330. So first of all, go to your quadrants and work out where does 330 lie. Which quadrant? And we have to go all the way to that quadrant with the C. And so we know cos, C stands for that cos is positive in that quadrant, so our answer will be positive. Then we need to work out the matching acute angle. And so we know in that quadrant there, in the fourth quadrant, that we always do 360 minus theta. So we know 360 minus theta would be equal to 330. Doing some very easy maths, theta has to be 30 degrees. So cos 330 is the same as cos of 30. Now we need to go to our triangle up the top. Cos is adjacent over hypotenuse. And so from our triangle, remember we're going from 30 degrees, adjacent is root 3, and the hypotenuse is 2. So cos 330 is the same as root 3 over 2.
Okay, and then the last one, we've got tan 150. Again, we look for where it is on the quadrants. So there's 180, so it's here. Now tan, this here only sign is positive, so tan is going to be negative. Okay, and then if we think of it being there, this is 180 minus theta. So 180 minus theta equals 150, which means theta is 30. So our associated acute angle is going to be 30, and we want tan of 30, which is opposite over adjacent. And over here, the opposite is 1, the adjacent is root 3. So 1 over root 3, which again, if you rationalize the denominator by multiplying numerator and denominator by root 3, you get root 3 over 3. Both of those answers would be correct. I think just to summarize, remember there's 2 stages. We always decide, and it's got to be negative, sorry, root 3 over 3. So that's our final answer. To summarize, I think there's just 2 stages. We always have to decide whether the answer is going to be positive or negative. Mm-hmm. And then we just have to use the associated acute angle to decide what the value is.
Yeah, so they need to remember the circle, and when they do 180 minus theta or 180 plus theta or 360 minus theta.
And all of that is in your notes right up here. Okay, thank you very much.
Okay.